Welcome back to the Cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now we are seeing a new Ethereum signal flash green, and this signal only flashes green when we are either at a market bottom or very close to a major market bottom. Also, Ethereum is forming some new patterns that I will be talking about in just a moment, alongside some other important Ethereum charts later in the video. So make sure you're watching all the way to the end so that you don't miss out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, you might as well leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. It's right here, we're on the Ethereum to US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame, and what we have here is a small bullish divergence between the price and the RSI. And on top of that, we have now seen a small bullish cross in the 4-hour MACD for Ethereum. And the last time we saw that happen for Ethereum on this time frame was back at the very end of 2021, and what came next was basically some more sideways price action. So personally, I would not be surprised if we do end up seeing a little bit more sideways price action moving forward, perhaps over the next few days or so. But when you're zooming out to the daily time frame for Ethereum and bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from the July low up to the all-time high, what we can see here is the most important Fibonacci level, which is the golden pocket, the 1618 Fibonacci level, coming in at around 2.9k approximately. Over the last 1 to 2 days, we're looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from the September low up to the all-time high and paying attention to the 78.6% Fibonacci level, which was coming in at around 3.1k. But at the time of filming this video, we're currently trading slightly below that level, but we haven't necessarily seen a lot of confirmation of the break below that support level. But if we do end up seeing some more daily candle closes below 3.1k, and also we have the weekly candle close coming up very soon, then in that case, if we're closing below 3.1k once again, then I'll be shifting my attention towards the golden pocket when you're looking from the July low to the all-time high in the Fibonacci retracement tool, which is once again coming in close to 2.9k. And just before we jump into this important Ethereum chart, I'll first just quickly mention for anyone that missed yesterday's Ethereum update video that we are now sitting in oversold territories on the daily RSI for Ethereum. And the last time we've seen the Ethereum daily RSI do this was back in March 2020, almost 2 years ago. And when the RSI was entering into oversold territories last time, it only really stayed there for a few days, because anytime we're in oversold territories, that's how you know that the room to the downside is very limited and we're actually getting close to a potential bottom. At least that was the case back in March 2020, and also these other time periods back here towards the end of 2019. So basically, if you're dollar cost averaging into Ethereum after that huge dump in March 2020, when we were seeing the daily RSI oversold for Ethereum, you would have done very well over the next few months or so. Now jumping into this important Ethereum chart, this is on the weekly time frame for Ethereum, and we've got this indicator right here that accurately predicts market bottoms for Ethereum. And by the way, this indicator is called the CM Williams VIX FIX finds market bottoms, and right now you can clearly see that this indicator is flashing a green signal for the first time since the middle of 2021, and the time before that was in the March 2020 crash, and the time before that was back at the end of 2019. And what do all of those time periods have in common? Well, they all came into play at major market bottoms for Ethereum, and they all turned out to be amazing buying opportunities if you were holding for at least the next few months. Obviously, that's not financial advice. I'm just telling you what this indicator means and what it has done for Ethereum in the past. But even these three separate green signals that we saw during the middle of 2021 all came into play at the three bottoms that we saw during the middle of 2021, because of course that was a triple bottom that played out. So basically, this green signal in this indicator right now doesn't necessarily guarantee that we are definitely at the bottom, because as I just mentioned, the last time we saw this indicator flash green, we still formed a triple bottom, so we came back down later on to the same sort of prices. But if we're not at the bottom right now, what it does mean is that we're getting very close to a bottom, and you can clearly see just how accurate this indicator has been for Ethereum in the past on the macro scale. Now zooming into the 3-day time frame for Ethereum and bringing out the 20-week simple moving average. I've previously mentioned this moving average as major support if we're above it, and usually major resistance if we're below it. And right now Ethereum is below the moving average, which means it should be acting as resistance. And by the way, the 20-week SMA is coming in at just above 3.8k. So yes, the break below this moving average was a bearish signal in the immediate short term, as we were talking about back when the price of Ethereum was all the way up at around 3.8k. I did mention on the channel that if we get below that exact level, it would be very likely we'll see another quick dump to the downside, similar to what we saw in the middle of 2021. But with that being said, it's still not the end of the world, because you can see what happened in July 2021. We still found some resistance along this moving average and saw one major rejection along that moving average, but eventually we formed that W pattern and broke back to the upside. And the moment we broke back above this moving average, that was basically the signal that we were finally flipping bullish again and entering into the recovery. So Ethereum still has some work to do before we can really confirm a recovery. But with that being said, what we saw play out last time was the best buying opportunity coming into play below the moving average. Now, it's important to mention that just because something happened in the past, it doesn't guarantee anything's going to happen in the future. And in fact, it is unlikely that the exact same thing's going to play out again. But it is still useful to at least consider previous price actions so that we know what is possible for Ethereum moving forward. But with that being said, looking in the price oscillators for Ethereum in the 3-day time frame, right now the RSI is sitting at the lowest level we've seen since that March 2020 crash. And right now the 3-day MACD for Ethereum is entering into negative territory. And the last time we saw that was back during the middle of 2021. And once we finally saw another bullish cross on the 3-day MACD, that was also a pretty strong signal to us that we were finally flipping bullish again and entering into the recovery. And for any of you that were watching the channel all the way back then, as we ended July and entered into August, we saw a major short squeeze. And right now we are showing similar signs to what we saw back in July 2021 regarding a short squeeze. The Ethereum estimated leverage ratio is continuing to explode to the upside while the Ethereum price is dumping to the downside. And so obviously the majority of that leverage is sitting in short positions, because if the majority of that leverage was sitting in long positions, then by now we would have seen this estimated leverage ratio decrease back to the downside as the longs are forced to close their positions. But instead, we've continued to see the estimated leverage ratio climb to the upside over the past 1 month. And once again, this is all happening while the Ethereum price is dropping. And the last time we saw this was back during June and July 2021. Now quickly checking out Ethereum versus Bitcoin here on the daily time frame. And right now we have broken below this important line that I have been mentioning over the past few days. So by the way, this line that we just broke below was coming in at around 0.076 Bitcoin per Ethereum. And so technically speaking, that should now be acting as resistance for Ethereum. And if we see some more confirmation here, so for example, we're just about to see the weekly candle close. And if that weekly candle closes below this important level that I just mentioned, then obviously that would be extra confirmation that we have broken that level. And the next major level of support to the downside for Ethereum versus Bitcoin is coming in at this previous low at around 0.07 Bitcoin per Ethereum. And that's not just because we've previously bounced at that level, but it's also because that is the golden pocket right here, as you can see. But if you're wanting to know any possible levels of support between now and that golden pocket, we've still got this 50% level coming in at around 0.074 Bitcoin per Ethereum, which is acting as some short-term support for Ethereum. And as I have been mentioning over the past couple of days, the reason why Ethereum is seeing a bit of a pullback at the moment against Bitcoin is because the Bitcoin dominance has been seeing a small bounce to the upside here on the daily time frame. And as you might already know, while the Bitcoin dominance is bouncing to the upside, the altcoins on average should be underperforming against Bitcoin. And then eventually when the Bitcoin dominance comes back to the downside, like what it has been doing over the past few months, then during those time periods, we see the altcoins on average outperform Bitcoin. So this is definitely something that I'm keeping an eye on right now. And of course, I will be keeping you updated. And if you want to stay up to date in the crypto markets at all times, make sure you follow me over on my Twitter. The link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. And before you click off, if you've made it this far in the video, you might as well leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. As always, I appreciate every single one of you here on the channel. I can't thank you enough. And also for the new viewers out there, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.